What is up, Cowboys Nation? Your boy Mike Tag here with my man G-Reg, our Sunday show. I mean, it seems like it's been a lifetime since we've seen our Cowboys play, man. It's like, I guess we got to wait a little bit longer, one more day.
Yes, we got to wait another day, but that's all right. We get a chance to watch everybody else lose today, and we don't have to stress and get depressed and have anxiety today. We can just watch football in calm and peace. And then tomorrow, gear up.
It's stress-free. It's another stress-free Sunday. I had one last week and one this week. But what's up, everyone joining in, man, jumping in, stars we are. Chris, obviously, always hanging in the cave. Definitely appreciate it. All you guys ever rolling in, make sure you're doing that. You hit that like, hit that subscribe if you're new to the channel, and share it with Cowboys Nation. But so, Greg, you and I haven't talked. You know, we haven't spoken a little bit. It's been a little while since we had been too long since we had been on the show. I've been traveling around. I've had weddings. I've had games. It's just been crazy. So now I'm home till the end of pretty much to the end of the year. I went to my last Cowboys game, which was probably the most disappointing game I've ever been to against the Cardinals. We won't rehash it too much, but it was so disappointing. And I, you know, I'm not a must-win guy, but I came out and said, hey, that's a must-win game. Going to the bye, you're 4-4. You come out, you get all these guys back. I think we'd feel pretty good about the team. So they end up getting embarrassed, you know, at home on Monday night against the Cardinals, going to the bye. Obviously, the tragedy with Nealon, you know, we've talked about that and how this team will kind of use that as motivation, or could it just kind of just continue to spiral this team out of control. But you're getting all these guys back, and this is why I said that Cardinals game was so important. You got Overshown, you got Logan Wilson, they traded for Quinnen Williams, you've got, you know, Hooker coming back, you've got what's his name too, Donovan Wilson coming back, you got all these guys that are Revel coming back. So I mean, you got like 6 new guys Monday night that weren't on the field on the defense last week. You got like 6 or 7 new guys going to be there. So this is where I was like, man, we got a lot of home games. We could feel pretty good. Where's your mindset? Because you and I haven't spoken. Where's your mindset on this team come Monday? What do you think of Monday moving forward? Where are you at?
Well, I'm hoping that the time off gave them a chance to reflect and get some perspective about where they are, how bad that Cardinals game was, memorialize Nealon, have a self-reflection of their own life after all of that, and then get the new additions, and then get all these folks coming back. And if they had a healthy practice, everybody was motivated. At least this is the best chance right now to start off on a good foot. I have a little bit of reservation because of the Cardinals game, but there's no way in hell we should lose this game against the Raiders because of how bad Geno Smith is, how bad the Raiders are, and our corners and DB should have a field day if we get just a little pressure on them. But I do have a little bit of reservation only because of how bad the Cardinals game turned out, because that game I expected us to win outright. And then
and the thing is we started getting like we got a lot of pressure on the Cardinals, and they still threw it all over us. I mean, the cornerbacks, I forgot the cornerback that was out there. I can't remember his name, but I mean, he was just getting annihilated. And you know, so you're gonna have 2 new corners out there, 3 really, when you start adding some of the guys coming back. So hopefully it'll be different. But we have a knack for making bad quarterbacks look really good. I don't know. It seems to be the Cowboys' way this year.
Yeah, Jacoby Brissett played probably his best game of the season, just like Wilson played his best game of his career against us, even though we beat him. That game just totally, that Cardinals game, to me, just took the wind out of my sails.
It did.
And I didn't even think about all the guys we got injured. I just looked at if we couldn't beat the Cardinals, we are in for it. The only thing I see that the Raiders have on their side is the fact that we're playing in Vegas. That's the only advantage I think the Raiders have.
I think it's going to be a Cowboys home game. I mean, I've seen all over Twitter and all over social media, all the Cowboys. I mean, it looks like a Cowboys takeover. I think it's going to be almost a home game for the Cowboys.
Yeah, well, my best friend, he's going to be going. He finally got his He finally got his Iron Man mask painted and all that, and so he'll be at that game. But we lose to the Raiders, it's a wrap. If we lose to the Raiders, it's a wrap because they are. This is the weakest team that we're going to be playing, and we're going to be fully loaded. Mind you, Overshown, Revel playing his in NFL, but Overshown, they got to get their legs up under him and all of that. But we lose to the Raiders, it's a wrap for the whole season.
Yeah. Well, let's look into the chat. Got a good question because I talked about a little bit of this on Wednesday's show. Kelly and I were talking about, are you concerned more about the defense or how poor the offensive line struggled in the last couple of games? To me, and I'll get your thoughts too, Greg, on it, it goes hand in hand. I think the offensive line struggles because the defense kind of puts the offense in a weird position of becoming one-dimensional, and that's not where the Cowboys do well. That's not what the offensive line does well. The offensive line is best when you're pounding the rock, play action pass. You're not asking your quarterback to sit back there and throw the ball, but it just seems like we're always in a track meet, and we're always trying to go, touchdown for touchdown, score for score, and then if you fall behind, then the whole game plan changes. I think the Cowboys have got to get back to running the football as a priority and then work the play action, work everything off of that. But it goes hand in hand with the defense. The defense has got to hold up their end of the bargain. I used the example on Monday night, Philly Green Bay game. It's 10-7. It was a terrible offensive game, but those defenses kept them in the game. You know what I mean? They held their own. The defenses did their job. The offenses struggled. We don't have that luxury. Like, we don't have the luxury of our offense kind of, clunking along a little bit until they find the way. The defense will keep them in the game. If the offense ain't firing on all cylinders, man, we're getting blown out because the defense ain't stopping no one. So I think it kind of goes hand in hand. We need to get this defense back to, not back, but to a level of respectability. It doesn't have to be great, just respect.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they do, because Green Bay's game is a good example of how you readjust when you really realize that you're getting blown out. They played us. Both teams would up in the 40s, end up in the tie because their defense was trash. Ours was trash. But look at Green Bay's defense since. They've done something, had an epiphany or something, but they got their act together on defense. Now their offense is struggling and can't do anything. Our defense, after coming out this bye, after all these folks are coming back, mind you, they got to get some rust off, and knowing how Geno always puts pressure on himself before a lot of times the pressure comes to him, our defense should look really good in this game. Now, it doesn't speak for what our defense will look like going forward, but in this game, our defense should look really well in this game, because all you got to do is put a little pressure on Geno, and he'll make that mistake and throw the ball up for interceptions. I think he's like number 8 in the league right now for interceptions. So this is going to prove whether our defense has got the message, whether this bye has really done something to get some cohesiveness on the defense with Quentin Williams and Logan Wilson. Has it re-energized some of the other players on defense to realize they got to step their game up to support these 2 new players? Yeah. And what kind of impact these 2 new players will have on our defense to make it better. Even if I see little signs of it, it's good for improvement, because it's the first game with these new players. So I'm looking forward to the defense playing a better game.
Yeah, it definitely. Again, we talked about it on Wednesday. Terrence Steele is kind of, I think he's in his last year. You'll probably see Nate Thomas replacing him, but Terrence Steele, looked at his cap numbers, like $18 million. I mean, they can cut him and save all that money. He's not playing up to that level. Guyton, I'm not really giving up on Guyton. I mean, I think he's played well at times. He struggled at times. I think it's just going to be the nature of the beast with a left tackle, and he was coming out of college, a little raw. So, I mean, I haven't thrown the towel in on him, but Terrence Steele, throw Thomas out there now. I'd have no problem with it. Steele's just a huge liability in pass protection. He's a good run blocker. I mean, he's always been very good run blocker, but in pass protection, he has been terrible. But that's where I say, if you could start running the ball and keeping the defensive line on their heels instead of on their toes, then Terrence Steele is a little bit, he's a better functional offensive lineman for him. So looking at the season, like, I think a lot of this stuff is kind of like, I don't want to say we're looking at 26, but the moves made, guys coming back. You're trying to hope you get some momentum going into 26. 25 this year, it's going to be a lot of work. Now, it's not out of the question. Go look at Green Bay's schedule. Look at Chicago's schedule. They got a lot of losses in that schedule. I mean, there's going to be some teams that are going to be cannibalizing themselves. For the Cowboys to get to the playoffs, they've got to go on a run. And I asked Kelly this, and I would ask you this too, is at what point, like Kelly's kind of out of it, right? So, and I understand. He said, like, this season I think is shot. I'm more like I'm hanging on by a thread. But at what point of the win streak would you be like, you know what? Yeah, I think we got something going. I mean, we were 3-5 when we got Cooper, and we ended up making the playoffs, and they went on a big run. They'd have to go on like a 7-1 run to really have a legit shot at playoffs. 6-2 would be like hanging, need a lot of help. But at what point of this season, if the Cowboys went on a streak, would you be like, I think we're going to be fighting for this thing. We got a shot.
Well, I don't give up on the Cowboys until the numbers say that they're out. I never do, because anything can happen. But if we win these next 3 games, because that's what I'm focusing on. We win the next 3 games. I have no doubt that we're in it, because the next 3 games are going to prove just how much we want it, just how much we really care to try to put our best out there for the rest of the season. How many players out there really want to play for their jobs in these next 3 games? And they're going to be challenging. And if we get through these next 3 games with a win, that means we've seen a drastic improvement on defense. The offense is relaxed and doing what they do. That means the team is cohesive. Everybody's energized, motivated. And now they realize we can go and do this and get in the playoffs. Because you win these next 3, there's nothing that says we aren't ready to go ahead and finish strong. And then as for Terrence Steele is on his last leg, really. He's right behind what's my boy just left and went to the Jets, and he'll probably be out.
Tyron,
who will probably be in the Hall of Fame one day. He's right behind him. So Steele, all I want out of Steele is give me the best that you can at this time in your career, the best that you can for the rest of this season. Because I have no doubt he'll probably retire in the offseason, if not take one last contract with somebody else just to make a little money. But we win these next 3 games, we will be there, because that means the 2 players we got, the bye week, and whatever went on with Overshown, Revel, and Shoddy are coming to these guys and saying, we have the nucleus right now. People are healthy. Let's get it done. That means it worked. And I want them to win this Raiders game personally for Neyland. I want this to be a statement game for Neyland. I understand they're going to be wearing a patch, I think, on their helmet. But I want them to win this game and make it a statement game for Neyland. Don't embarrass us after this and then come out and lose to the Raiders, the haphazard Raiders.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's every game it's 1-0, right? It's that old adage that they always say, it's one game at a time. I'm with you. That's what I said. It's really, they've got to, and it's a weird kind of like these next 3 games. It's the schedule gods, like, it was kind of weird. We come off a bye and we have an extra day, like it's Monday, but then we play right? Then we got Sunday at home, but then we got the short week against the Chiefs, and then another Thursday, 7-day break against the Lions, and then you have that break. So they've got to get through these 3 games within that short period of time. Win those. You got 2 of them at home, and the Eagles' offense hasn't looked so great. The Chiefs have been kind of hot and cold. If you can get those 3, because I don't think there's a chance they beat Detroit on the road, but Detroit's been beaten. So, I mean, they could. I mean, there's no dominant team, but I don't think they match up well against Detroit. I think Detroit has too much speed, and I think Detroit has too many weapons, and I don't think we got the horses that can hold them down. So if you give that one, let's say an L, you've got the Vikings at home, which you could beat. You got the Chargers at home, and then you've got a depleted Commanders team and pretty much a team in the Giants that are they'll be packed in by the end of the season. They're already packed in now. They fired their coach. So these 3 games, to your point, this is the season for them. They cannot slip up once. If they slip up once, they better make it up in Detroit, but I don't know if they'll be able to do it. But it is a pivotal point. But this is why I go back. It's so aggravating. The Cardinals was the game. They beat the Cardinals. We're looking at this team coming out of the bye, and I guarantee you, every fan is like, hey, man, we held it. We held it down. We got to work ahead, but we got reinforcements coming. And now that Cardinals game, it's just kind of really deflated a lot of the air out of Cowboys Nation. And I understand. I mean, shit, I was at that game. I've never walked out of a game before it was over, and I left before it was over. I was like, I could not sit and watch this shit anymore. I had to leave. It was just so infuriating to see a backup quarterback, third string running back, not a good defense, just absolutely, mop the floor with us. It was, and it's the Cardinals. I don't know what it is. We can't beat the Cardinals. We can't beat the Broncos. I don't know what the hell's going on. Those two teams I never want to see on our schedule. I'll never waste my money going to watch them play.
and the Cardinals, it's because with Jacoby Brissett, I was like, there's no way in the world Jacoby Brissett is going to beat us. No way in the world. Murray, I worry because of his scrambling ability, and he has our number, but no way in the world Jacoby Brissett. And then he turns around the next week and he's straight trash. But this run is going to remind me of last year. Even though we had a depleted team last year, had the talent, but it was depleted from injuries, there were two games that kept us out, and we had them both won. The Washington game at home, we had them won until Mariota take that last-minute drive, scores a touchdown. And then the Bengals, we had them beat until we blocked the punt, and then we tried to pick it up and give it back to them. Those two games we win, we squeak in the playoffs. And I just don't want this year to be a repeat of that. And every time I see our record, Mike, it automatically hits me about that Vegas thing. And I'm like, I hear all this sports betting going on and all these people doing illegal sports betting and how everybody getting caught up and all this. And I know the Cowboys aren't doing it, but it just hit me. It makes me, I said, how in the hell, think about it now, how in the hell did Vegas figure out the Cowboys wouldn't even win 7 games when that is the most wild, egregious bet before a season I've ever heard. And I'm thinking, 7? They must be on some crack. But look where we are. And it's almost like they were Nostradamus. I'm like, what the
Don't mess with Vegas.
What the hell does Vegas see that we don't see, that they said the Cowboys won't win 7? And look where we are. And Mike, to be honest with you, we don't do what we need to do for the rest of the season. We could very well wind up with maybe 6 wins, and that's it.
Easily.
And I'm like, I don't know what the hell Vegas, but every time I look at our record, that comes to mind. And it makes me wonder, what the hell is going on that they see that we don't see? Because we saw training camp. We saw what was going on. We were like, ain't no way in the world we're going to lose 7 games. But
no,
I don't know, man.
A lot of money on that one. I should know better never to mess with Vegas. It's funny, not off topic, but you talk about Vegas and you talk about stigma, you talk about teams. So you and I are both Hurricane fans. So I don't know if you've seen this stat, but the Miami Hurricanes, penalty-wise, 33 penalties higher than the other team when you add everything together. That it's a huge gap in penalties. They're the most penalized team by a wide margin. The least penalized team is Notre Dame. And, Miami's only had 4 holding penalties, defensive holding penalties on our line. You're talking about one of the best lines in college football. They've only had 4. So this guy did a video about it, and it makes sense. And he said that Miami still has that. They always have that stigma, right? The bad boys, the troublemakers, the Catholics versus convicts. So it's kind of stuck in heads of referees. It's stuck in minds. And they showed examples like when Tony caught a ball and he kind of stood up over the guy, he got a personal foul. In the SMU game, the SMU guy lit up our tight end, stood over him the same exact way, no penalty. You had the passer. So I think sometimes teams get a stigma. And I'm just wondering if the Cowboys, just have that stigma, and I don't want to say it's cheating or kind of this, but just weird things always seem to happen to the Cowboys just all the time. And it just seems like it's been over the last, 30 years, of course. But I don't know if it's a NFL against Jerry, NFL against, the Cowboys themselves, but it is just weird. I mean, think of all the weird things that's happened to the Cowboys and some of their losses through the years. I mean, you can't write a book. I mean, you couldn't make up a story about it and put it in a book. It's crazy.
No, but I could sit there. I could sit back as a fan of the other 31 NFL teams and probably say the same thing.
Yeah,
if I study it. Now, as far as the Hurricanes, that's legit because I saw the SMU guy stood over him and paused, and they didn't call anything. And then I saw that bull pass interference call yesterday against Miami. That wasn't pass interference at all. And those referees do have that stigma about Miami. It's not just Miami. It's the entire fan base. It's the former players. It's the swag. It's that particular culture of Miami football that to this day, they still don't like. Because remember, the NCAA rule book was greatly upgraded and enhanced. And there are a lot of rules in the rule book that were originated because of the Miami Hurricanes in the 80s. Yeah. And that is never lost on some of these referees. And then as far as the Cowboys, I just think, especially right now this year, we don't have a level of discipline that the players see, that they know when they go to the sideline, their coach is either going to give them that Belichick stare or that talking about, what are you doing? I give Guyton a lot of credit because you don't hear Guyton getting those pre-movement penalties anymore. So he's better now as the season's going by. I mean, as the year going by. So it shows that he's growing. But the Cowboys, we get in our own way. It's bad enough that we're looking the way we are, and then we get a good run, and then we go out there and do something undisciplined and get a big penalty that calls it back. And we can call it on the referees or whatever, but I just think right now the Cowboys aren't disciplined enough. If they get disciplined.
It is interesting that Micah Parsons, when he was with the Cowboys, you saw those holding penalties that they're never called, and he seems to be getting those called now in Green Bay. I'm just saying I think there's an underlining kind of thing, and people are human. I mean, people are human, and it is what it is. But talking about this defense, and Eberflus has taken a lot of heat, and maybe rightfully so, maybe not rightfully. I mean, I don't, I'm not gonna throw it all on him by any stretch. I think I'm one of those guys that, hey, the players are on the field. I mean, I've seen players kind of half-ass it. I've seen some players, over pursue, out of position, not being disciplined, all the other stuff that goes with it. I mean, how much of that do you end up putting on a coach? But looking at this defense, he's kind of like in an audition maybe to keep his job. I don't think the Cowboys, on record, I don't think the Cowboys are going to move on from him next year. And I don't think they should. I'm just going to be honest. I think a lot of this is on more the personnel than the coordinator. But what is your take on Eberflus? I mean, do you need to see this defense kind of start showing some life? And if they kind of stay the same path, are you good with just finding another defensive coordinator? What's your thoughts on this, on the staff and the players on defense?
Well, I said for a while, I didn't blame Eberflus because think about it. Let's put ourselves in the shoes, okay? You're Shoddy. I'm Eberflus. All of a sudden, you guys hire me the defensive coordinator. What am I most excited about right away? I got Micah Parsons. And what am I going to do right away? I'm going to scheme my defensive strategy around Michael Parsons. I got the arguably best defensive player in the NFL. Oh, I can't wait to start playing with that candy. And then you get out there and all of a sudden you see this where Michael Parsons and Jerry going through their thing. But in your mind, Eberflus still thinks, well, I can still scheme around it because Micah's going to be here. They're going to work it out. And I'll have Micah for when the season starts. So I still have him. And I have no doubt that Eberflus was scheming around having Michael as that nucleus all the way up until he was gone. And then all of a sudden, was like, wait a minute. You want me to get in the Indianapolis 500? You just took away my Formula 5 and you gave me a Pinto? And now you expect me, the race is tomorrow, to get in there and win? I don't blame Eberflus for that. Jerry set him up, not knowingly. He set him up and undercut him on that. Now, I go back, the season starts and they're going. And I'm like, okay, Eberflus, now it's time to adjust. You don't have Micah, so you need to adjust. What are you doing to adjust? Either there's a disconnect on the defense as far as the corners and the linebackers, because the line is what it is. It's the lack of the talent to bust through that line to get in there and put pressure on the quarterback. But we have the talent in the linebackers and DBs. We have enough talent to play a decent game. What is it they're not doing, Eberflus, that you see that you can't correct? Is it you're putting the scheme in there, correct it, but the players aren't getting it? Or your scheme isn't working, but you're still trying to fit that square peg into a round hole? By this time, as far as the DBs, Eberflus should have figured out something, or go to level of management and say, Shotty, these guys just ain't it. And I'm going to tell you now, no matter what I do with them, it's just not it. And if it's not that, then it is Eberflus. Now,
and they made it, I mean, right? They brought in Quinnen Williams and they get in Logan Wilson. I mean, two areas that I think the Cowboys felt worried about was linebacker. They haven't been getting a great linebacker playing discipline, right? I mean, that's the biggest thing with everything. And again, I'm not a huge sit at home and watch film. I just got too many other things to do in life. But I watched some videos, and there's great guys on YouTube that do it. And I said, I just got to see it. And it's all about gap integrity, and it's all about discipline. And you could see these guys, and even Shotty was talking about it in a lot of his press conferences. He said, you're supposed to stay here. And in that defense, your eyes are supposed to stay right there. And what happens is take a cat or take someone that runs across. If you go like this and you go turn to them, then you're screwed. Right. You got to stay disciplined. And I think that's from what he said, that's been a lot of the problems. And then when you watch the tape, well, that it kind of cements that. So I don't think they have the right players. I don't think they have good enough players on this team to run his scheme, but they've made some changes. Revel, I mean, it's a lot to ask a guy coming off an injury to be impact, but if it is, they've added a new key player at every level of this defense going into Monday night. Yeah,
and it may be a little late for that, because even though you've added these new players, they haven't gelled. We don't know how. We don't, and what will help our DBs and our linebackers? Solomon Thomas won't be in this game, but what will help our DBs and linebackers is if Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson make a direct impact on how quarterbacks execute, then it will help our DBs. It will definitely help Bland, because Bland can sit there and tease a quarterback to think that this receiver is open because he has quick speed on accelerating real quick to the ball. But Quinnen Williams has to be, him and Clark have to be an impact. And Clowney needs to be that person right behind them saying, look, I got Clark, I got Quinnen Williams right here. Oh, yeah, I'm going to play my best game if this is my last season in the league. Between those three, if they can make a difference on that defensive line, our corners and linebackers will look like, they got their act together. And it really won't be that they got their act together. It'll just be that the quarterback won't have all day to pick them apart anymore. Yeah. Because right now,
the Cardinals, the defense, like Ezeraku's been playing really good. He's gotten better and better and better. In that Cardinals game, they got 5 sacks on the quarterback. They were getting in his face. It's just they picked on the one cornerback. Bland never got nothing thrown his way. Carson was actually out there. He didn't really get much. It was this one cornerback, and they found him, and boy, did they abuse him. And they abused him bad. And that's the problem, is the talent level. Diggs, I don't know if Diggs is going to be back anytime soon or ever. I don't know. That's a name that's kind of disappeared. It's disappeared from the team. But Revel and Bland and, and Carson and, hopefully the DBs can hold up. But I like what I've seen in some of the younger guys. And that's what I'm saying is I think the Cowboys, you got to see some improvements going into the end of the year because, I mean, at this point, you're kind of, all right, what do we got in 26?
Mm-hmm.
Because the good thing with the trades is they've got their guys locked up. It's not like Quinnen Williams is locked up. He's not going anywhere. You gave up a 27th first, not the 26. So they still got 2 1s going into this year. What are they going to do with Pickens? It sounds like at worst they're going to franchise him, so he'll be back next year. I'm hoping they do a long-term deal and just not mess around with the whole franchise. Because I think that's where you start messing with the player's mind, right? You start, then they start, you can kind of create a little friction. And I think George Pickens has been, one of the best free agent or, off-season, I'll say, acquisitions that the Cowboys have had. I don't know. I mean, God, I don't know when. Leroy Glover? I don't know. I don't know the last really good acquisition. Amari Cooper was short-lived. But that was big for that year. But and that was a trade during the season, so it wasn't really off season. But I don't know. I can't think of
Jerry's fault. And Amari Cooper was Jerry's fault. Amari Cooper was one hell of a route runner and everything. And again, Jerry got in his feelings over some BS that was said in the locker room, and he get rid of them. And let's go back to what starts a fire and not the fire that's burning that everybody's paying attention to. No matter what we do next year. The bottom line is, and I will continue to say this on my dying breath, until we get a real general manager, we will not be able to put together the puzzles, the pieces to really make this team dynamic. Jerry can't do it. All he's doing is playing with people's emotions. He gets emotional. He gets rid of people on emotions. Then he wants to drag out negotiations because he wants to cheat people and he wants them to get behind closed doors with him so he can sell them a used car. And then once we get our team together and we got the players, okay, Jerry, where's the general manager that's normally in there and that's constantly keeping an eye on what's going on and saying, we're going to plug and play this person during the season. I see where we're going wrong right here. Eberflus, what do you need? Let me talk. Okay, yeah, let's go and get this guy here. We don't have that. And no matter how well we put this team together, I'm telling you, without a true general manager, and Lynch proved it in San Francisco, and there's plenty of them out there that prove it, until we get a true general manager, it doesn't matter what the Cowboys put on that field. I don't think it will be cohesive enough throughout an entire season to make a deep run in the playoffs because you got one entity that's going to sabotage something every year. And this year, he's par for the course. He did it with the Parsons. You watch with Pickens. Y'all fans, listen to me and mark my word.
Mark the tape. We're marking the tape.
Pickens should be write the check. You watch what Jerry does with Pickens. You watch how he does with Pickens and probably destroy that relationship or how long he drags that out. And that's the kind of stuff that the locker room sees. When the locker room sees that, imagine everybody else in that locker room. When you're playing for a coach or owner or whoever, you feel good when you know they're supporting you and they're behind you. And if you're doing good things, they're going to let you know and they promote you. When you're playing for an owner that, I don't care how good you are, he's looking at how he can mess it up or get rid of you. And then even say it in his documentary, how he might blow the whole thing up. And his own wife told him, you just don't like it when it's good. When you playing for somebody like that, imagine how that affects people's minds in the locker room. And if you think it doesn't affect the player, there's some land in Egypt that you can buy that's dusty because it does. And until we get a real general manager, Mike, I really feel our hopes and prayers are going to be on, come on, Cowboys, let's have a good season. Let's try to make the playoffs because that's all we can hope. We're going to never give up on them. That's all we can hope every season is that in spite of Jerry, the Cowboys find a way to take it to the next level. I see general managers like Lynch. Look at these general managers they're hiring around here. They are directly responsible for how these teams are winning and how they're succeeding and how they're getting the players they need and molding the teams because that general manager is always in touch with the coach and the offensive coach and the defensive coach. Jerry isn't. Once Jerry gets somebody, he steps away until he wants to step in there and put his nose in it and mess it up. So until we get a real general manager, and I don't mean his son, because all they are is just followers, and they getting that generational money. That's it. They full of shit. Until we get a real general manager, all I got is hope that the players themselves will pull what Aikman, Michael, and all the rest of them did when Barry Switzer came in, and they knew we got to take this team ourselves. And they did. And they got to a Super Bowl and won it. So that's what I'm looking forward to. But that's the root of the fire that we're dealing with right now.
No, I mean, we've always said you've got to kind of win in spite of them. Now, they've had some teams. I'm not going to put it all on him. They've had some teams in the playoffs that shit the bed, to be honest, that's on them. I mean, it's on the players. But I do get your point. You're trying to build you're building a team long term, and these 1-year contracts and these guys shuffling in and out, you lose a lot of that continuity with what they do. So we'll see what happens. But looking at the game it's on Monday. So we'll be doing a show on Monday. I guess we'll do a game leading up to Monday night. I was supposed to be at a watch party, but we kind of got things rescheduled around. So I'll be home watching this game. I mean, looking at the Raiders, I mean, Pete Carroll and Shoddy have some history, right? Shoddy thinks a lot of Pete Carroll. So Pete Carroll knows Shoddy's mindset. And I think, Shoddy knows Pete Carroll. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Genty has not rushed, I don't think, for more than 75 yards this season. So he has not kind of taken off. Sometimes they say the Cowboys are the get-right game for these teams. Yeah. I mean, I know we talked about the Raiders a little bit with Geno Smith. They don't have a lot of weapons. I mean, they really don't have a lot of weapons. Bowers is probably going to be, the one that you got to, figure out who's going to cover him. I mean, how are they going to stop Bowers? Because he's their basically everything on that offense. But Genty still, I mean, he's a good running back. I mean, we have a knack for making these good running backs look really, really, really good. But we'll see what happens. What's your thoughts on our defense and their offense? I know we talked a little bit about it, but what do you guys think too in the chat?
Well, let me tell you, the only two players that the Raiders have really are Bowers and Gentry. And Gentry, one thing about him is he doesn't go down on the first hit. Gentry does not go down on the first hit. Now, maybe in his sophomore year and the year after that, some running backs, they started being in the league a while and they start realizing business decisions. But he doesn't. He's got like 520-something yards this season, which is decent. But that's because he's playing with the Raiders. He could probably have more if he was playing with somebody else. Bowers is legit. He is totally legit. And he's the kind that can burn the hell out of our defense as the way they're playing. However, the key factor here is Geno Smith. Pete Carroll took that job knowing that he wasn't going to a team that the owner was about to go out and get 6 5-star players and resurrect this team. This owner's almost like Jerry as far as a big new stadium, thinking about everything else, and he's got the team his father built. So now he's going to try to do the best he can. Pete Carroll will probably be out of the league after this Raiders stint. He ain't taking the Raiders nowhere. Geno probably won't be with the Raiders next year. If he is, he'll be there as a backup only because Pete Carroll is there, and Pete brought him over because he needed some familiarity with somebody. Geno, as well as he played with Seattle, it'll never happen at the Raiders. It's almost like the Cleveland Browns. So this game, this defense that they have is the kind that's a decent defense to where average, like what we would want ours to be right now. If our defense was just average, that would please us. That's the Raiders defense. It's average. You're not going to get a whole lot of receivers sitting behind the Raiders defensive backs, just sitting there waiting on the ball like they are with us. But the domino in this whole effect for us that's going to make our defense look good is Geno Smith. Geno is trying too hard to make this team look good with an offensive line that has holes in it from here to Texas, that our defense should be able to put enough pressure on Geno where Geno is going to be able to throw pick six. Not well, I didn't say pick sixes, but he's going to be able to throw some picks. And we win this game, and our defense really shine through it. It's not a reflection of how good our defense is, more of a reflection of how bad the Raiders are and Geno is. So this is Geno's last starting season in the NFL. Pete Carroll may or may not be back. And where goes Pete Carroll goes Geno. We should be able to exploit that offensive line on the Raiders. And being that they know that, I can see Pete Carroll telling Geno, just dump it. Just dump it. Let's take our chances dumping to Genty, take our chances dumping to Bowers, take our chances giving to Genty, and then if something opens up, go deep. But let's just dump it and see what we can get away with behind their defensive line. Because the MVPs of this game for us on defense will be Quinnen Williams and that defensive line. If we can get the ball behind them, then it's going to be a different story. So Geno's probably going to try to dump it off a lot. I give our defensive line a real good chance of looking damn good against the Raiders because of Geno. Now, if Geno manages to play one of his best games and get the ball behind him, who knows? Who knows?
I can't sit through another defensive debacle as I watched, as I've seen lately. So I'm just hoping the defense, and I don't think the Raiders are any good. So I'm not going to go throw a Super Bowl party if the Cowboys beat them, but it will make me feel better.
Yeah.
I mean, it make me feel better. And the thing is this team needs confidence, especially the defense. So if you got a bad offense in the Raiders and you guys can slap them around and get some stuff going on and feel good, God, man, go get it, man. And do it. Whatever they could use to motivate them to get them better psychologically. Because, again, I mean, these guys are professionals. And look at the NFL now. The separation between the best teams in the NFL and the worst teams is razor thin. Yeah. I mean, it is. I mean, you see it every single week. You see, well, geez, this team just beat that one, and this would beat that one, and that would. How did this happen? It's all. I mean, most of the NFL, it's confidence and it's belief in yourself and it's execution and getting that momentum. And like I said, the Cowboys just have not had anything good. They haven't had anything good happen to them this year. I mean, it's just been one thing after another, whether it be an injury or whether it be locker room stuff. Obviously, I don't even want to mention the tragedy they had to go through the bye week. It's like this has just been a season of just one thing after another. And if they could just get some confidence and feel good and have not a 40 to 37 win doesn't give you confidence. It gives, all right, our offense scored, but shit, we gave up 37 points. I'm talking like a 24-10, a 24-7, a 31-17, whatever, a good solid victory that can that you can build upon that. The Cowboys haven't had that. I mean, even the Jets win wasn't dominating. I mean, Justin Fields still probably had one of his better games, and as a quarterback this year. So they just need something to get some confidence and take it week to week. But that's what I'm hoping out of this game. That's what they end up with. But I don't know. But if they, like I said, if they shit the bed again,
against the Raiders, then it's a wrap. And what we need right now, in spite of our defense, what we really need right now, Mike, we need our offense to get together and say, you know what, guys, let's just go to hell off. Let's just go to hell off. Because if our offense scores 30, 35 points a game from this point forward, we're going to win a lot of games. Because I don't think, in spite of our defense, I don't think every team we're playing for the rest of the season can match us 35 points or more for the rest of the season. But that's where we need. That's what we need our offense to just go off. If they go off, we won't even have to look at the defense. We can just say, well, we know what y'all ain't gonna do. But our offense needs to go off, because look at the games that we lost where we scored low. If the offense had gone off like they did against Green Bay and how the offense started with the players we got, we win those games. We win.
Yeah, but you're asking for perfection of the
Oh no,
offense.
I know that. You're
That's
right.
it.
You're right.
You're asking a lot.
That's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking for. You exactly right. That's what I'm asking for. But like I said, that's all we got. That's all we got right now.
I know.
If I'm offense, if I'm Dak, I'm saying, guys, let's just go the hell off. I'm gonna throw it to you, Pickens, when your eyes are closed. Bam, I'm throwing to you before you turn your head. And listen, when Javante, when you run the ball, I'm giving it to you 90 times. And offensive line, I want y'all to go out there and play like you playing in the backyard, like you don't give a damn. Knock somebody out, and then let the referees call the foul. Just go. And Dak, I'm slinging. I'm just slinging. And that's what they need to do because the defense ain't gonna do it.
No. Now, do you know the thing too is the one thing I wish they would do more of, and they did it early in the season, but they didn't really do it over the last few weeks. Just throw some deep passes to Pickens, because what happens is it's either going to get caught, he'll break it up, or he's going to get a PI. Like, how many PIs did he get on deep pass? Like, remember early on, he wasn't putting up big numbers, but I kept telling people, look at the penalty yards he's getting by pass interferences he's creating, because he will go up and high point that ball, and he's physical. And I think I wish they would do a little bit more of that. You know what I mean? And just attack. It's almost like I talked about with the Canes. I mean, I was at a bar yesterday. A guy was, obviously decked out in McCain stuff. And the guy goes, man, he goes, you're a Canes fan? I said, yeah. He goes, oh, man. So I give you credit for wearing all your stuff, man. I'm a Canes fan, but, there's so many Knowles and Gators around here. I just don't want to get any argument. I said, screw that shit. Yeah. I'm always going to wear McCain stuff. But we got to talking about Miami, and then we were talking about Dallas. And it's like they're two mirror images of each other, the way that they are. Like on our offense, we've got skill guys in Miami, and yet they're throwing like little behind the screens, passes to their. I say, go attack, man. Attack. You got all these great skill guys. Then they started doing it at NC State. They down the field. They kept going. And I just think the Cowboys, they need to attack. They just got to, and up tempo. I know that they don't want to have 2-minute drives, but shit, at this point, the offense seems to do better with some tempo. Just add a little tempo in there from, a few plays here and there throughout the drives. I don't know. I just try something.
No, but you're absolutely right. And that goes to my point. Offense, just go off. Just go off. Because this guy gets so many PIs, it makes me wonder if the refs are going to say, let's stop calling some of these PIs, because he's a finesser. And he is. He's smart. Pickens knows how to get a PI if the ball is going to be a challenge. He knows how to get it. That's why he gets so many. That's what you want. Somebody that's smart enough to play the game, that knows he's got the skills to catch, but he knows if the ball is going to be difficult, he knows how to position himself so it can be a PI. And those little things of a smart ball player help you win games. And I just hope the referees don't look a side eye and say, wait a minute now. I remember Michael Irvin used to do this. We didn't pay attention until John Madden said something about it, when Michael Irvin told John Madden his secret and told him, don't say nothing. And then what did he do against the 49ers? Madden calling the game. Oh, Michael Irvin, he told me something. I'm like, man, why did you tell that sloppy face dude that, Michael? You should have never told him. And what they do, they called it in that 49ers NFC championship game, which made the difference in why we lost. So Pickens could be the same way, but if the offense just goes off and just plays free, it'll make a difference. And maybe that be the motivation factor, like you're talking about, for some of the defense. Or this year, the defense for the Cowboys looks like the defense for the Canes last year. Remember?
Isn't it crazy? It's just crazy.
It is. Yes. And then this year, the Canes, we're biting our nails. They win, and then they lose the game supposed to. And then the Cowboys are doing the same thing. It's almost like we curse. Both of them.
I think it is. I don't know what it is.
Both of them are our favorite teams, college and pro. And it seemed like they mimic each other for the last 2 seasons.
Oh, it drives me insane. The other thing, and I agree with you, Chris, but I mean, get Ferguson back involved. I mean, he was just, I think he had the most receptions the first few games. He had all that stuff going, and he just kind of disappeared a little bit the last few games. That's the other thing. Definitely getting Ferguson. You got so many weapons. I mean, think about it. Even like Turpin, I don't know if it's the exact number, but I think he's got 12 catches maybe this year, 10, 12, 13. I mean, not much production. And I know Flournoy and is taking some of that away from him, but get him a couple good, deep passes, use that speed a game with him, and just you got to mix it up a little bit more because like you said, the defense, it is what it is. So the offense is going to have to just do it without him, but it's perfection, and that's a lot to ask. So
and Dak, the problem with the Ferg situation, if you pay attention to the games we played, Dak has missed Ferguson. He had him on several times. His favorite play is when they play option and then Ferg goes right up the middle behind the linebacker, and Dak missed him. He missed him. He threw one too low and it hit the helmet of the other team. Then he threw one too far away. The first ones he did during the season, he put it right on point. If Dak will get his precision a little bit better, then he can meet him right there. But that's a beautiful play because it's right in the gap. And Ferguson has always been open and did it, but Dak has missed him more than he has connected with him. And Dak himself has got to get a little bit better connection with him on that. But you're right, Turpin. I know Turpin is loose. I know he's open out there with his speed. Nobody can stick with him. Find him. And Turpin right now he's having a little he's having some issues with himself because his confidence is kind of diminished on his punt returns and kickoff returns because he's just not finding that gap like he wants to find. And the last game we played, he had one where he picked up quite a few yards in it, but I want to see him do what he did against Washington. Run over here, and everybody starts to run over here, and then on a dime, flip it and go all the way across the other side of the field. Because Turpin is just one big hole open from scoring another touchdown on that. But yeah, use him in the offense and throw him down the field. But get away from that damn Lamb coming out the backfield. I don't want to. Yeah, they did it again. And I was like, what are you doing? All the talent we got, and you're going to use little bony toothpick Lamb to come out the backfield on the reverse, and those linebackers will tear his little bony butt up, man. Quit throwing it to him. Or if you want to give it to somebody, give it to Turpin. Turpin has the speed where he can stop on a dime, boom, and see that little bitty window and run through it. Not Lamb.
No, and if Turpin gets hurt, you can deal with that. You can't deal with Lamb getting hurt. I mean,
no. But I want for the rest of the season, Mike. I don't have a lot of confidence, and I'm not demeaning our boys. I don't have a lot of confidence that our defense is going to get better the way they even play average. I don't. That's why all I want to see right now, it's at that point to where if we're not going to go anywhere, okay, leave it on the field. Offense, just go off. Just go off. Give me something to look at. Woo, look at that, boy. They throwing that ball everywhere. 35, 38 points. Well, we lost 41-35, but their offense threw the ball. They went downfield. They scored 35, 38 points. Do that. And I think it'll get us by quite a few games because when Mahomes comes into Dallas, and I'm glad I won't be at that game. I'll be at the Chargers game. I'm glad I'm not going to be at that game. Mahomes, he's going to try to explode everything back there on the backfield. And even Quentin Williams makes a difference or not, Mahomes is slippery. And he's going to find somebody. And that's like I say, the next 3 games. We win those next 3 games, there's no doubt that our team is ready to go because that means they stepped to the gauntlet and got through it.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. It's going to be, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. But, any final thoughts on the Cowboys? I know we kind of covered. We beat the defense down as much as we could. And hopefully I'm excited. Just final things I'd say is I'm excited to see Overshown. Probably more than anything. I'm just praying because I don't want to see anyone get it. I'm just hoping that it's healthy. I think they talked about they're going to have him on a snap count. I think Revel, I'm excited to kind of just get a glimpse of what he's capable of. Again, he's a rookie. I mean, rookie DBs, there's a learning curve there. Not expecting a lot of things. Quentin Williams, I'm excited to see. Obviously, Wilson. It just seeing something different makes you feel better. Now, the only thing I'd say is if the Cowboys do go on like a 6-2 run and they miss the playoffs, it'll probably make me more angry than more happy. going into 26, because then I'm going to be like, well, you guys really wasted an opportunity by waiting and not addressing it sooner when we had an offense and we had things together. And in 26, you're springboarding into 26 and you're going to feel good about it. But it would really just leave a bad taste in my mouth for this year. It's like, man, we really, you missed an opportunity, because the NFC, I'm just telling you, NFC is wide open. There is not a dominant team, and probably not a dominant team in the NFL, but there's definitely not a dominant team in the NFC.
And Revel, this would be his first game playing in the NFL, so don't expect a whole lot from him.
And he missed all of last year pretty much too.
And because he's injured, the mindset is, I want to see how my injury is going to react first before I go full speed. Same thing with Overshown. The thing that I worry the most about Overshown is that he had full practice, but the thing I worry the most about Overshown is he's going to get out there and try to be himself again, like he was last year, and overdo it. And if he gets a setback now, that may ruin his career. So I don't want, even if he's out there and I can see he's not playing to his fullest because he's trying to get his legs together, I'm fine with that, long as he doesn't get hurt.
Yeah.
As long as he doesn't get hurt doing it. But the Cowboys going forward with this team on the defense right now, on the defensive line, I think Clark came in motivated because he wants to win. Clark, I think his level of motivation went up even higher, knowing he got Quentin Williams out there next to him. I'm sure Sam Williams, Easy, and those guys feel even better too, because they got this dynamic player coming from Jet, and they don't want to show him. They don't want him to see, damn guy, y'all garbage. They don't want nobody to see that. And Clowney is playing like he's got something to prove to everybody. Let him know I ain't washed up yet. And then these guys will know they got somebody like Logan Wilson behind them, and those other linebackers will know they don't want to let Logan Wilson look at them like, man, you guys are trash. They're gonna try to play up to a better expectation because they know you got that player on your team. You've played sports, I played sports, and I'm not talking about just little league sports. We've played sports where it's competitive. You've seen how if a guy that you've been watching in that league you play in is good, and all of a sudden you find out he's on your team, whether you got a good game or not. You step up a little bit more because you want to show that guy what he's coming to, and that you ain't the leaking pipe on the team. You're not the slow leaker. You're a good ball player. And it's something about your personal motivation that steps up, knowing that you got this person to help contribute. And you also don't want to make this person see you in a bad light. So that should motivate people on the defense from the linebacker perspective and the defensive line. All those that are already on the team, from linebackers, defensive line, they should be really highly motivated now, knowing that they got these two contributors on the team, which are good players. As far as the DBs, I don't know about that. I think it's a level of talent we need to seek out next year and see how that's going to work out.
Yeah. Looking at the games, any key matchups in the NFC, we'll finish up with that. Miami's obviously, they're playing now. Washington, it's 6-6. Carolina, Atlanta. I mean, that's an interesting one just because I think, Atlanta loses, they're going to be done. If Atlanta beats Carolina, that helps Dallas. If you have if you guys are doing any playoff watching, that would move them back. Chicago's got to go to Minnesota. Chicago's the tricky team. Chicago's still got to play the Packers twice.
Mm-hmm.
I think they play Minnesota twice. I think they play they have like a very tough schedule. I don't know. I went through it Wednesday. They might be hard pressed to win another game, maybe two games at the top. So Giants and the Packers. You've got famous Jameis, who's a Florida State Seminole, but he's probably one of my favorite humans that I think I've seen, and from a celebrity athlete standpoint, not personally, but I don't know if there's a better person out there than Jameis Winston.
Motivation too.
Yeah,
his level of motivation.
Good.
My family, my brother and my sister-in-law, they know Jameis and Jameis' family in Birmingham because he lived in Bessemer, Alabama, where my sister-in-law is from. They know him. But his level of motivation, one thing about him, whether you think it's kooky or not, Jameson is transparent. That is, he is who you see he is. And he's always going to have that motivation in him. I don't care how bad the situation is. And he could make a difference in that game for him. Y'all, speaking of that, the Giants are looking at Mike McCarthy as a candidate.
I think that'd be a great hire for them.
Yeah, and the Giants will get better over the next 2 seasons, no doubt about it. So
that's Jackson Dart's
got to keep up with.
Yeah.
But I hope the Dolphins beat Washington today. Saints helped everybody out last week by beating Carolina. I hope Carolina gets beat today. There's a few teams in the NFC that can slip and still, if we do what we need to do, we can still be on that path to squeak.
Well, I want to ask you, because you're very hard on one of my favorite Cowboys, and he was my favorite Cowboy for a few reasons.
I know what you're talking about.
One, my hype video, he got it going and he retweeted it, and that kind of started me where I'm at today, doing the videos and meeting all these great Cowboy fans. But he said he was going to Seattle because he wants an opportunity to win a Super Bowl, and we all laughed at him. A lot of us laughed at him. I know Kelly did. I don't know if you did, but that man's balling out. And I've always said he's a solid player. He's not, he's not going to get you double-digit sacks every year, this and that, but I think in the locker room he's good, and I think he's just a solid contributor on defense, even in his later stages. But Seattle's the team that is kind of playing some good ball right now. But what do you think of old Tank? I mean, well, you happy for him, or what's your feeling on Tank?
I'm always going to be happy for him. Tank got Defensive Player of the Week because he got 2 touchdowns in 1 game. But listen, Tank is playing better because Tank is playing with better players on defense. It ain't just Tank. Now, and Tank knows when he left Dallas to go to Seattle, that might be his last ride. So Tank pulled everything out of himself to play his best. He got, like I said, he got complacent with the Cowboys.
But I think, but I'll say this before I'll let you finish. But him and Micah got on a sideline spat. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people took the side of Micah. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, maybe Tank was in the right. You don't know what they said. We don't have microphones or anything like that, and neither one of them have ever said what they said. But maybe Tank was he was onto something. I don't know. I don't know.
Mike, I know that's your boy, and I know, and we can look at it from both perspectives. But from my perspective, Tank had an opportunity on that 4-man defensive line. If anybody on that defensive line, as bad as it was, one person has got to shine, even if their shining doesn't make a difference in the game. And it wasn't him. Tank could have been the only one on that defensive line doing his job. And we know, man, look at Tank. Tank the only one out there doing it, man. Tank is at least trying his hardest. No, he got complacent. Tank wasn't doing nothing. We didn't even know Tank was in the game when Green Bay played us and beat us in that playoff game. Everybody was like, where's Tank? I didn't even know Tank was on the field the whole season.
He was tired. Long season, he was tired.
But now with Seattle, Tank is playing with a team. Them guys on that defensive line can care less whether Tank comes or not. These guys are playing their behinds off, which helps Tank shine, which helps Tank get those 2 touchdowns he got. So it ain't Tank is the one that's making Seattle that good. Tank joined a defense that's good, and he's contributing, but Tank knew he had to step up because he's like, these boys are playing some ball. I better pull out of me what I didn't pull out of me on that defensive line with Dallas, because these guys will leave me behind. And because they playing that ball the way they playing, it's going to help me in my game play better, because these guys, 3 of them are going through there like they crazy. So, of course, Tank is playing better ball because he's got the team around him that's playing better ball all through that defense. We didn't have that, but if Tank didn't do nothing but concentrate on what Tank's job was with Dallas, we would have noticed Tank more during the seasons when he played with us, because Tank would have been doing his job. I think Tank got complacent. He realized the rest of the team was trash. He's a Cowboy for life. He figured, well, I ain't finna kill myself. I'm gonna make business decisions. And then when he left, I left them because they ain't gonna never win a Super Bowl. Well, you were supposed to be part of it, Tank. You ain't do a damn thing in your last 2 seasons with us. Of course we ain't going to win a Super Bowl. And now with Seattle, you know that might be your last damn ride. So you better pull everything you got out of you. Oh, and by the way, you're joining a great defensive team. That helps, Tank, doesn't it? It helped you get those 2 touchdowns you got.
Oh, they weren't. They weren't. I mean, everyone laughed at Seattle. Everyone said Seattle. It was the Rams. It was the Niners. Seattle was the 3rd best team in that division. He said he was going there with an opportunity to win the Super Bowl. Everyone laughed at him. They all said, "What are you crazy? Seattle's not."
Before the season started, they laughed.
Yes, yeah. I'm just saying that.
And you can laugh before the season, but once they get on that field and you see that they for real, it'd be different if they were laughing during the season because they were trash and he joined them. This was before the season, and they laughed. And then when they got on the field, they can say, "You can laugh all you want. We out here playing for real." They didn't think Darnold was going to be the same Darnold no more. And then who wouldn't want to join Seattle if they're in their latter days and they know they can go to Seattle? And Seattle's playing the way they are. I'll be like, man, yeah, let me take my crippled self over there too, man. Them guys going to make me look good because I'm going to get all these sloppy seconds. That's what I'm going to do. And that's what Lawrence is getting. So I know that's your boy. And I don't have. And Lawrence, I really appreciate everything you did for the Cowboys in your better days. But when you left and said what you said, you forgot to look in the mirror and realize we won winning the Super Bowl, not in spite of you, but because you were part of those teams as well. And you were non-existent for the last 2.5. We didn't even know you were on the field. So it ain't like you taking your greatness away like Michael Parsons. You weren't even nowhere. And that's why Michael Parsons had a problem with you, because you kind of gave up. You gave up.
Well, I would say Dallas Cowboys are winning that trade so far with Green Bay. So we'll see what happens.
Right now. But, well, I wouldn't say it's a grand slam, Mike. I really wouldn't.
I mean, it depends on who the Cowboys. Because it depends on who they're other picking. If you're getting Quinnen Williams and they get a good draft pick with the other trade this year, and you save $47 million, that's a win in my book. The only thing I would say is I think Tank was hip, and I love Micah. But I think Micah was in Dallas. I think he's changed. I think he's matured. I think in his last year in Dallas, and I think kind of like going into this offseason, I was really excited to see Micah because I think he was turning that corner of maturity. Mm-hmm. I really do. And he showed a true leadership role. I don't think in his earlier days with Dallas, I think he was more me. Everything me. He did the podcast. He was doing it. Everything was me. And I don't think Tank – and Tank wasn't the only one. I mean, Malik Hooker went out and said, "Hey, man, you're on this podcast. I mean, we're giving up worst rush defense. Why don't you hang in? Let's watch some film together." Eugene Lockhart talked about it. He said those defensive guys, when he played, they were together watching film at someone's house. Hey, let's go get some food. These players, they don't really do that, but it takes a leader. It takes the leader of that defense to say, guys, this shit stops today. Let's get in here and get it done. And I think Parsons was on his way to that. I really do. Yeah. That's why I was really disappointed to see him leave the way he did, because I think we're getting ready to see that even better Micah Parsons in Dallas.
Yeah, but Tank wasn't that leader. Tank wasn't pulling nobody together and saying, let's go.
I don't.
And Micah Parsons' exit wasn't Micah Parsons' fault. That was Jerry's fault, period. Yeah. And I really believe in my heart of hearts that if Micah was still with us, that we would have won a few more of these games. I really believe it. And think about it. You get rid of Micah, but then you go out there and spend money to get 3 or 4 more other players to make up for one.
But that's the whole point of it, though. That's why you got to do that.
You go out there and get 3 or 4 more players to make up for one, and it still hasn't evolved. They still haven't made the difference.
They were 31st last year with Micah Parsons.
We win that game against Green Bay if Micah doesn't come all the way around from the left and catch Dak 3 yards.
We scored 40 points, man. We scored 40 points.
We scored 40, but that touchdown wins the game because Green Bay wasn't coming back down. And
Green Bay wasn't going to come down there and score too?
Who stopped Dak and to get in the end zone? Micah Parsons. That's who stopped him. Micah Parsons.
Oh my God! No. Yeah.
So
I wish it well.
And I wish we kept Micah, because then we could have seen the true defensive scheme from Eberflus. And Eberflus is catching. I have some sympathy for Eberflus because you got the rug pulled out from up under you just before game one, I can imagine the schemes he had in his playbook for defense and that nucleus of Micah being around it. Now he's got to start from scratch with nobody near the talent of Micah. And then when Jerry brings him in, it's almost too late. So I can't really blame Eberflus totally for the defensive problems because
I agree.
He took out his diamond.
I agree.
Right before the first game of the season.
But you can't pay that guy $47 million. I don't know. It's unfortunate.
I would have paid him.
You would have paid him. This is your defense. You wouldn't have Quinnen Williams. You wouldn't have Kenny Clark. This is the defense that you'd be living with for 4 years. You think that's good?
What wins we got. And look what wins we got.
You think that's good? At least you have a future. You'd have no future.
I need us to win now.
$47 million for a guy that had zero impact in any major game because you can scheme around him. What did he do against Green Bay? He was on the field. What did he do in Green Bay? He was on the field. What did he do? What did he do against Dallas? He got nothing in Dallas against a shitty. We're talking about the shittiest, right? Everyone said our offensive line is shit. He couldn't even do it because you can scheme against a great player. Give me the great defensive end that won Super Bowls. Go ahead.
Mike,
I'll wait.
Every year.
Give me one.
Wait, Mike. Every year in the middle of the season, what are we doing? Next year, we got
no. Give me. Give me a solid. Give me a defensive end. The dominant. Give me TJ Watt. What has he got? Myles Garrett. 5 sacks and lost.
Mike, I still would have kept Micah because I feel our season would be different with Micah than it is now. Your season
would be different. All right, they'd have 5 wins instead of 3, let's say, but their future would be dead. They would be.
You don't have a future now. You don't know what
you do. You just saved $47 million.
You saved $47 million. You got an old man that don't know how to spend money for right players, and then gets rid of them. We don't know what those first round picks are going to turn out to be next year. It might be another DeMarcus Fatty Russell.
I do know they're not 47. You can't.
Everybody say we got picks.
Unfortunately, the NFL, and I wish there was. I'll just say this. I'm against salary caps. I don't think there should be salary caps.
That would allow us to go get whoever we want.
I think a player should be able to make whatever he wants.
Right.
And if a team wants to pay him, that's their business. It's no difference in your job, my job, whatever it is. I don't think there should be a salary cap, but there is a salary cap. And you can't have a defensive end making quarterback money. You would cripple your team. Now, you could do it if Dallas didn't have if Dallas didn't have Dak and they drafted a young quarterback. Then you could say, all right, we got 4 years with this young quarterback. We'll go do that. But when you have all your money tied to your quarterback, and then you re-sign the receiver, and then you re-sign, obviously, Tyler Smith, they wouldn't have had without that trading him. There's only so much money. That's what I'm saying. It's not that Parsons stinks. We all know Parsons is. I said it. Parsons is the best defensive player in the NFL. I'll stand by that. I have no problem saying it. But I can't pay him 47 when I got Dak making that, CD making that, Tyler making that, Bland you signed. There's not enough money to go around. You'd have nobody on your team.
Well, there are several other players Jerry could have unloaded to make up for that. But here's the thing. When you look at getting rid of Micah, it seems like every year all we doing is making a sabotage attempt to get ready for next year with draft picks. And how have they turned out in the last 30 years?
I get it.
We ain't won nothing. And then we're looking at it now talking about, we got rid of Micah. We got all that money. We signed Quinnen Williams. We got so-and-so. We could probably sign Pickens next year. We got first-round draft picks. You don't know what you're getting in those first-round draft picks. We have no idea what them picks. And we know Jerry's sitting on another sabotage attempt next season to do us in again. It's always something he's going to do us in. Spend that money on a GM. Spend it on a GM.
Well, the beauty is the GM doesn't count against the salary cap. But the draft, you have to. If you're going to make a run, you have to hit on your draft picks. Look at the on them. But I'm saying, look at the Jalen Carter, right? Smith. They hit on their draft picks, and that helped elevate it because it's lower cap money. The Cowboys, go look back at the draft. You're 1,000% right. They have not hit on their draft picks. Go look at their defensive draft pick, Randy Gregory, right? Taco Charlton, Mozzie Smith. They have not hit on their draft pick. That is really the true problem with this team and why you don't see them taking that next step, because you're not getting to the Super Bowl with your high-priced guys. They're there. They're your stabilizers. They're there. But you're getting to the Super Bowl with the meat and potatoes of that team, which is your second and third tier guys, and that's your draft picks. And the Cowboys have not drafted well. What Will McClay? Will McClay gets a pass. Maybe Will McClay needs to go too.
Mike,
maybe he needs to leave.
Who's making our draft picks?
Will McClay.
No, it's JJ.
No.
JJ's making our draft picks.
I don't agree with it.
Everything stops with JJ. A general manager sitting in that draft room. We'll get better picks than what JJ is doing, and we'll move. I'm telling you. You telling me Mozzie Smith was Jerry Jones's pick and not the defensive coordinator that wanted him? Jerry has overriding and dominant influence on all our draft picks, all of them. And Jerry, his nose is right on the table, and I guarantee you he's passed up players that some of them told him this is who we need to get. A general manager, I'm telling you, every year we get these draft picks. Ooh, Dallas is going to draft high. We got 2 picks in the first round. We got 2 in the second, and we got so-and-so. And we get excited. Every year. And then what happens? Jerry comes in and says, now it's time for me to sabotage something. And he does it. And if we get a GM, I don't care what kind of draft picks we get. I feel instead of looking at what Michael Parsons did not do for us and the money Michael Parsons got that we could not pay Mike and all this, the root of it all is getting a legitimate GM. It will change the concept, the future, the coach. It'll change everything about the Cowboys. All we have to look forward to during the season is what prospects we have in training camp and how they're going to develop during the season. If it doesn't work, we always look at next year, we got these draft picks and we can get so-and-so and so-and-so. Then we get those and we don't do anything with it. And then Jerry, of course, somewhere along the line, whether it's for headlines or emotional reasons, he does something to sabotage the team. I would rather where we are right now, I would rather take Michael Parsons, pay him that money and see where we are right now versus where we are right now. All I know is he's with Green Bay. Green Bay's record is better than ours. He's with Green Bay. Green Bay's record is better than ours. And if we had kept him, maybe our record would be better. Or we'd be in the winning category. But right now, without Michael Parsons and without these players that Jerry Whitting got, we still in the losing. They gave Micah Parsons $40. They offered him $40 million. So let's not like they didn't offer it. He was going to be the highest paid defensive end. They offered him $40.5 million. And he got what he deserved at Green Bay. And I don't have anything. He didn't deserve that in Dallas. I wouldn't have paid him, man. I'll go to my grave saying it. I'll go to my grave. I love him. We are. But you can't look. This is great. Let's and I love debating. I think it's great. The draft is not Jerry Jones. Let me finish. The draft is Will McClay and those scouts. Free agency is Jerry Jones. Signing our guys is Jerry Jones. The draft is Will McClay and his scouts. You can go talk to Brian Broaddus. Go listen to him. He was a scout here too. Will McClay and those guys do it, and they do it with coaches' influence. Taco Charlton. What was our coordinator? Was that the guy that was in Tampa? Wanted Taco Charlton. They got him. We need him for that defense. Terrible pick. Mozzie Smith, defensive coordinator. They wanted that pick. When you get into where I would say maybe Jerry has influence is when you bring in Kelvin Joseph or Randy. When you have a guy that has first round grades, but he has some off-field issues. Mm-hmm. I think Jerry is probably more inclined to that because if what you're saying is factual, Johnny Manziel would have been the Dallas Cowboys quarterback because Jerry wanted him.
They went with Zach Martin. They did not go with thank God they didn't. Jesus, thank God they didn't. They didn't go with Johnny Manziel. I'm just saying I agree with you on the GM thing. We don't disagree. The draft, I'm just telling you, Will McClay, and I like Will McClay, but he gets a pass. And I saw it in the chat. He does. He gets a pass. These have been bad drafts. If you look at the last 3 years of the Cowboys draft, it's been bad. Micah Parsons fell into them. I mean, Micah Parsons, it wasn't for COVID, if it wasn't for COVID and he sat out, Micah Parsons would have been the first player taken in the draft, if not second. He fell to Dallas by luck.
But see, Jerry, we can't say he consistently likes the bad players because he passed on Randy Moss because of the off-field stuff. And you see what Randy
that's to be context. That was right after Michael Irvin went to the fur coat and the drugs, and that was that season. Okay. And Michael Irvin has been on record to say he apologized to Jerry because he put Jerry in a position because that was so bad. It wasn't he would have taken Randy Moss today. It was right at the offseason of Michael Irvin just having the worst.
Look, like I said, getting rid of Micah was not the solution, and it wasn't even close. Because look, everything you mentioned, one thing that you didn't mention, which is the reason why the whole concept stays right here and it won't get here. Because you can put it on Will McClay and everybody else about who they drafted. But the GM and the president's job at the beginning of the season is to sign those players in. Jerry and the whole world knew, a third grader knew, if you sign Mike at the beginning of the season, you wouldn't have had to pay that money. And then and then free agency. When free agency comes up, if you go get the player like you should have got last year, one of those two running backs, you go get them, we're in a different position. And then when you start building afterwards and you get rid of a Michael Parsons and you got other players you bring it behind them, look who you already got. You can put it on Will McClay and them all you want. Jerry is the biggest responsibility and the biggest irresponsible person. 3 basic ownership principles. Hire a GM, basic ownership principle. Sign players the season prior or just before, season prior in the off season. Basic principle. Free agency. Get the plug and play player you need, go get them. 3 basic principles that 31 other teams follow. And we are the only team that don't. Jerry does things on the last minute and by emotions. And because of what he does, dramatically affects everything else we try to do, whether it's number 1 draft picks for the next season, whether it's players that he's trying to bring in. He doesn't bring it full circle. If he does those 3 basic principles that every owner does, then we could be better off where we are now. And you leave him out the equation, and you leave those 3 basic principles out the equation, and he continues to be consistently irresponsible when it comes to those 3 basic equations, we're never going to get where we need to be because he's a narcissist. And taking Michael Parsons out the picture didn't help. Look who he got in free agency. He got Clark. And then he waited later. Now he got, in the trade, he got Clark. Then he waited for free agency, won on Quinnen Williams. We don't know about Logan Wilson yet. But you did all of that because you got rid of Michael, who you could have signed for much less when you had the opportunity. With Dak, with Lamb, everybody knows it. He could have said, you know how much money he would have saved between Dak, Lamb, and Michael if he signed him when he should have signed him? Then we wouldn't have this argument.
And and I agree with you on all the stuff outside the draft. Like, I don't think Jerry's is influential in the draft as you believe. The other stuff, 1,000%. But I've said this before, and I've had a couple people kind of maybe confirm it or maybe. I think it's a financial thing with the Cowboys as an organization, their family business. And what I've heard was when you sign guys, you have to have their guaranteed money has to be in escrow. So you got to have that cash available. You have to have the assets in an account for them because that's the guaranteed money on their contract. And that's the only reason I can see why they wait, because it makes no sense. To your point, you could have signed Dak for $10 million less a year if you would have done it a year earlier. They waited. Why do you wait? They waited on CD. Why did you wait? You waited on Micah Parsons. Why? I mean, it just does. Look, Jerry, you can say what you want about it. He's a smart businessman.
Business.
He's a smart businessman. This is business because it's costed you money. Why in the hell would you do that? That's the only thing I can think of, and I'd love to know. I'm not close enough to Jerry to ask that question, but there's something why they wait on very big contracts. Because you looked at like Micah Parsons to your point, that draft, every major guy was signed before their contract was up.
Mm-hmm.
There was every major one.
Mm-hmm.
Micah was the only one that wasn't. Why? Why was CeeDee Lamb waited? Why was Dak? He was franchised twice.
Yeah.
Why did they wait? And they've spent a lot of money that they didn't need to. So I agree with you on the business side of it. We're just talking the draft. I don't think the draft. I think Jerry's not as influential in the draft as you think.
But I think, but you hit on something that's key. Jerry, as much as everybody like to think Jerry's not like sitting on. He has assets.
Yes.
But Jerry's not just sitting on a mound of money, there's real money sitting there. Jerry's like, I don't have to worry about my assets. I'm sitting on a mound of money. No, because when Jerry bought that stadium, he was the first one in the league to do that, go that big on the stadium. And he set the precedence for everybody else. Jerry knew that he was selling the farm and everything in his life to build that stadium. He had to pay for that stadium, which means that's why he has all these events in there, no matter what they are. If you want to have a goat show up in there with just goats running around, if you pay his price, he'll let you.
Well, every stadium does that. Every stadium.
Yeah, but he set the precedence on this type of stadium. Now, Jerry's always out there hustling, looking for somewhere to make some money. Just like in the free agency when he said something and it resonated. There's money out there in the natural gas business that I'm trying to get. I ain't paying attention to the free agency right now because he's having to rob Peter to pay Paul. So I think that's the biggest motivating factor why he's not paying so much of attention like most owners can do, because these owners, they can concentrate on their investments and worry all about the business that needs to be made to continue to make that family money because they got a GM that's doing the job that Jerry's trying to do. He can't do that and hustle 1,000 miles an hour every day trying to make that money, which he desperately needs, and then put that same effort in being a GM. No, one of them's going to lack. And the one that's going to lack is the GM job because his founding principle is making that money, whether it's for the Cowboys or his family, and it's more for his family. That's why I say if he hires a legit GM, and there are a lot of them out there who would love to come to Cowboys, that would love to come to Cowboys, he can focus more on just making that money and trying to do two things that he cannot be successful in. And your point is 100% valid. That's what we don't know about the Cowboys, is the fact that Jerry's primary thing that he thinks about, sleep, waking up, eating breakfast, everything, is I need to make some money. I need to make some money. I need to make some money. And he's going out there looking at how he can make money. Paying these players is just a way of robbing Peter to pay Paul, which is the family. And that's why he waits so late, because it's like, well, this contract can come through. I get this money, then I can do this. I'm going to wait till the last minute. You know what? The money's kind of tight, and I'm still trying to make this money. I'm just going to lowball this guy. I'm going to wait till the last minute. And and examples have shown, whether it's you, me, the analysts, financial management, everybody that knows anything about NFL football, professional and those are novice, they know, and Jerry knows, that if you sign early, you save money. And Jerry, we know how money is to you. Sign early and save the money. But I think deep down that narcissist thinks, I won't sign early because I can still pull him away from his agent. I can still manipulate that guy and still wait to the last minute and pay him peanuts. And
but
it's not
never worked. He's never has. I mean,
and he's waited to the last minute and he's paid more money. And I go back. You pay Lamb, you pay Dak, and you pay Mike early. Look at the money you save.
I don't disagree.
to make that difference in the free agency, you could have easily got Saquon or Derrick Henry. And those key aspects that people don't pay attention to or why we're in this situation. 75% can be players and coaches, but that 25% that Jerry's not doing, which is basic common sense for all other owners and GMs, is making the huge difference in why we're not moving forward. And I wish just for 2 seasons, he would do those 3 principles and see the magnitude of what it does to affect us going forward. And he's not going to do that. So all I can do is hope that the team itself finds a way to come together and, in spite of him, win. And whatever sabotage he does that year doesn't affect us enough. Because other than that, I try my best to put Jerry out of my mindset and just focus on the Cowboys winning. But it all, to me, every time we get in this situation where we are, it always comes back to me that we wouldn't have to be where we are if he just did his job. And you can't underestimate how critical it is that he does his job that 31 other owners and GMs do. Lynch came into the league well after he played. And GM, look what he did with the 49ers. GM, it's that kind of motivation. It's that kind of player aspect, looking at what you need. You can't tell me Lynch isn't key in free agency to knowing what they need on that field and getting. Jerry don't know. He played back in the day when they had rubber helmets. He don't know what it takes. We need a GM, Mike. We need a GM so bad.
Yeah. Well, that's not changing. So we need a dead horse, and that ain't changing. It's just the way it is. I love the cuts by Jones. I love that cuts by Jones koozie you got on. I like it. I like it.
He sent me 2 more. You know I'm a rep cuts. You know I'm repping.
Make sure you rep cuts. Make sure he's got some great. I'm redoing my cave. That's what I've been working on. People would follow. This is my mini cave, not my Cowboys cave. So I got work to do, but it's all painted. I don't want to show the full screen because there's a lot of holes. I got to patch holes. I got work I got to do. So hopefully it'll be done by Monday's show. If not, it'll be by Wednesday. But yeah. So anyway, guys, we had a great conversation. Hour and a half. Love the debate, and that's what I love about Cowboy fans. We're all passionate. We want the same exact thing. Damn it, it's been too long. We want a damn Super Bowl. I mean, how much more do we have to take? It's getting beaten down, but definitely appreciate everyone hanging with us, man. Hit that like, subscribe, more thumbs up on your way out. It does help. And we'll be back on Monday. Greg, it's pregame. You're welcome because it's a Cowboys Monday. If you want to come hang with Jimmy and I Monday, you're invited. Just let me know if that works, and we'll lead you guys up to the game Monday night with our Cowboys. So hopefully it's the second half of the season. I don't want to look at that. I don't even want to think about the record. I want to look. We're 0-0. Let's start fresh. Let's see what happens. Maybe some things go their way today to kind of give the Cowboys a little bit more. I think it's going to be a mashed up conference, and maybe the Cowboys got a chance to make something happen. We'll see. I don't know.
Well, Mike, 1, yes, I'm in for tomorrow night.
All right.
2,
I will.
Cuts. Hey, Cuts. I saw what you said. Everybody hates JJ, but when they see him, they want an autograph. Not me, brother. Not me. I see Jerry. He can tap me on the shoulder. Hey, I hear your name is Greg Nate. That's right. I don't know you, partner. I do not want an autograph or a picture with Jerry. Period. Right.
Hey,
and I want Jerry to know that I don't want your picture or your autograph.
I can confirm I was at the Cardinals game, and I got field passes in the Miller Lite thing for my wife and I to hang out, and Jerry walked by, and I got it. I recorded it. Jerry, everyone's screaming Jerry. Everyone wants pictures, autograph. And I just sat back there and I just watched, and I'm like, all right, well, here we go. And I mean, it is. I mean, it is true that when you go there, people can say all they want, but everyone loves them. And I hopefully we'll get you an opportunity in front of them. I want to make sure you keep that same intensity. Kelly said he would. I want to make sure you're going to do it.
If you want me to get an autograph with Jerry, you make sure you spike my drink with some crack or something something that's going to inebriate me. So I see him like, hey, Jerry, get the autograph. Because otherwise, I'm walking away. I'm walking away. No, sir.
But definitely appreciate it. Thank you for the love and the support to the Cowboys Cave. Everyone hanging with us. All you guys chilling in the cave for a couple hours. Greg, always great having you back on our normal Sunday. It should be normal Sunday the rest of the way. I don't see anything stopping us. So, and I'll send you the link. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll really be getting into the Cowboy game. We're going to really dissect it. We'll have everything set up, lead you up to kickoff. So appreciate all the love and support. You guys have a great Sunday. Greg, take care. We'll see you, brother. See you.
All right.
Give me somebody that's hungry. Give me somebody that's hungry. I need somebody.